signaling an increasingly closer alliance between the two countries. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said he wants to build a new world order, less focused around the United States, and he's been working to forge closer relationships with China and North Korea, a country which is believed to have recently sent more than 10,000 troops to fight with the Russian army against Ukraine. CNN's Fred Pleitgen has more.
Jet fighters streaking across the skies at China's largest air show, aiming to show just how fast the People's Republic is modernizing its massive military. China's main partner is Russia. The head of the Russian National Security Council, Sergei Shoigu, in Beijing, praising.
So again, with the election that recently took place, like there's some kind of analyzing, like how is this going to impact world relations between countries. So just one example of this. So Trump, he just said that he wants to put in, her name's Tulsi Gabbard, he wants to put her in as Director of National Intelligence. What this would mean is that she would be over the FBI, the Central Intelligence Agency, the National Security Agency, basically all of the intelligence agencies in the U.S. I want to say there's 18 in total. She is in the past. She's basically said things that some would accuse of being like Russia propaganda. Like she's been like very positive about Russia, and with the war with Ukraine, she's said things like, well, like Ukraine like indicated they wanted to join NATO and they shouldn't have indicated that. And so some people are saying that with her being in that role, like there's speculation, like will the US become more aligned with Russia? Will they become closer to Russia instead of Ukraine? And so you look at like alliances between countries right now, like there is some talk that those alliances could shift quite a bit.
Ever closer ties. We are not a military political alliance like the ones formed during the Cold War, he says. Relations between our countries are superior to those forms of interstate ties. This as China shows off its brand new stealth fighter called the J-35A for the first time ever, while the Russians were showcasing their own stealth jet, the Su-57, which has already been used in combat operations. Russia and China have dramatically expanded their military cooperation in recent years. With regular exercises like these major naval drills, the Russians say were the largest in more than 30 years. This, as Vladimir Putin says, he wants what he calls a new world order with less U.S. influence and more power in the hands of countries like Russia and China. Russian-Chinese cooperation in world affairs acts as one of the main stabilizing factors in the global arena, he said. And China's Xi Jinping added, in the face of the turbulent international situation and external environment, the two sides should continue to uphold the original aspiration of friendship for generations to come. All this as relations with the U.S. grow ever more adversarial. Washington concerned about Chinese territorial claims and military expansion in the South China Sea. President-elect Donald Trump vowing to rein Beijing in.
There are certain countries, I can tell you everyone, I can give you from top to bottom. China's the toughest of all, but we were taking care of China with the tariffs.
But the U.S. now also faces an emboldened North Korea. Kim Jong-un.
So real quick, have you all heard of the tariffs? You all understand how tariffs work? Okay, so a tariff, right now the U.S. gets a lot of goods from China, and so they'll bring those items in from China, and then they'll sell it to just people here. Walmart, for example, a lot of like what you get at Walmart is going to be made in China. So how a tariff would work is it makes it so that basically it costs extra to bring in something from China. So that will mean that more businesses will not want to bring in those items from China. If they do, it will cost them more, and then they will then charge the consumer more. And so that could hurt China's economy, like long term, but also it's going to be more expensive for people here.
Heavily courted by Russian President Vladimir Putin, recently conducting another round of ballistic missile tests. The U.S. also believes more than 10,000 North Korean soldiers are currently fighting on Russia's side in its war against Ukraine.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin has made clear that he wants to remain on the forefront of building what he calls this new world order. And therefore, for the Russians, their relations both with North Korea and with China, they say will continue to only go in one direction, towards deeper cooperation.
All right, we are less than 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, the holiday